Now you're set up and good to start creating even more content. I want to run you through some of the ways to create content. So there are two main ways you can create content. The first is filming outside of the app, on your phone, or even on a full DSLR setup if you wanted, and then uploading that to TikTok. Maybe you are repurposing YouTube content for the platform. Maybe you just wanted to film a lot of sequences and edit them together. There are numerous reasons why you'd actually want to do it like this. So let's say you have a video that you wanted to upload. When you click the big button to create content, you need to go to the bottom right and click upload. From here, you can upload a mixture of videos and images. It will crop it all together for you, and you can even sync the images changing to a sound. It's pretty amazing how it does that. It syncs them onto the beats. But for this example, we'll just upload a video we've already taken. Then from that, we can adjust the speed, so if you wanted it to go fast or slow, you can do that here. When you click next, it will go to the next stage, which is where you can add sounds and text on top of it. Now I do want to note here that you can't have a mixture of uploaded content and filming in the app. It's one or the other. You upload or you film everything in the app. So if you are uploading, make sure you have your whole video ready to go. Again, you don't need to edit clips together because TikTok can do that for you. Just have all of the clips there and ready. Now before I go on to editing, because it is the same for content created in-app as it is for edited or uploaded, I just want to quickly go through the in-app options. So first step, when filming straight into the app, is to think about what you're going to be doing. And it sounds obvious, right? But it's important. Like any well-made video, there is some planning that goes into it, especially when you have all of the options that you have in this app. It's crazy how many options you have. So starting from the top, the opposite the way I did it on the homepage, and I don't know why. You have in the center a link to sounds. This is where I would start with your video. Considering the basis of the app is around sounds, as we discussed earlier, they play an important role in the content creation process for this app. So let's go there and find a sound that we like. Here you are faced with a new menu and search system, but it's super easy, I promise. So first off, when you use the app a lot, you should be saving these trending sounds that you find, or ones that just inspire you. Save them to your favorites, because that will make it easier on you later. And these will go into your favorites tab, and it's generally where I tend to start. I always go through my favorited sounds, and generally I'll have an idea of what I'm making, so I know what sound I'm actually looking for. But if that's not for you, and you're just throwing something together on the fly, which is awesome, or you don't have a sound in mind, you can search for sounds or go through TikTok suggestions. Again, these are really powerful because they show you what sounds are trending right now. They tell you the sounds that will grow your channel. So these will be shown under the Discover tab. These are the sounds that TikTok thinks you'll do best with, but they are fairly generic, so might not fit with what you're looking for. If that's the case, you can scroll down and find categories. So if you're looking for something in a range of sounds, maybe something poppy, then you can go into these and you can see what is around. And they have all kinds of categories down there. So if you click the button at the top right, you can actually see a lot more categories as well. But let's say we wanted to use one of these trending sounds. We can listen to them by clicking the little play button over them. We can add them to favorites using the tab icon if we like that sound and we want to use it. And we can just click the sound and then click the tick. That will then add that sound to your video. And a little tip here, underneath all the sounds you'll see, you can see there's a little time there. Now that shows you how long that sound lasts for, which can really influence the content you're creating. Most sounds will be around the 15-second mark, but some will be more and some will be less. So if you needed to create something that was longer than 15 seconds, you need to make sure you're choosing a sound that can be recorded for that long. So now we've chosen our sound, we've got our sound into the video. This is pretty much always the first step for making any content on here, unless you're creating an original sound content. Putting a sound on your video is the first step every time. Next thing I normally do is think about if there are any effects I want to be using. So down at the bottom left, we have our effects tab. This adds effects on top of your videos and into your videos. Some are crazier than others, some are more useful than others, and there are always so many that you really need to go through and see what's around on this. And they're always adding new ones as well. But hey, guess what? You can favourite effects as well. So as you watch videos on the platform, if you see the effects tab come up, you can click it and save it. You can even save effects from the effects panel. If you see something you like but isn't necessarily relevant for that video, or you think, I'm just going to be using this every single time, you can favourite it. One thing with effects is, again, they tell you what effects are trending. They tell you the new ones and they tell you the trending ones. And this does actually matter. If an effect is trending and you use it, you have a chance of being shown to people who like videos with that effect. It also normally links up with some kind of challenge. So using trending effects can also give your account a boost to its popularity. There is one effect that I'm going to recommend and I always use. It's green screen. Now with this effect, you can add images into the background and film over it. It will cut you out of the background and put you over the image, or if you're not in the image, it will just show the full image, which is really cool. And this is awesome if you want to show articles or images, and if you want to point to them and explain what they're about or whatever. So get that favorited, use that a lot. I use it all the time. It's amazing. Right, so we have our sounds, we have our effects ready. Let's look at the other options we have before filming. So at the bottom we have this little bar, and that is our speed. This is really cool and quite useful. You can speed up or slow down whatever you're going to record by a timed amount. I've used this both to speed up my movement to give the videos a little bit more of a fun aesthetic and effect. It looks kind of unnatural, but it's really interesting and fun. I've also used it to make a video shorter. So when I wanted to do an educational piece, to get it to 15 seconds, I just went double speed. So I got 30 seconds of video into 15 seconds. Now you can turn this off and on. So if you don't see the banner, it might actually be turned off. The option for this is in the right-hand menu, which we're going to go through right now. So going from top to bottom, we have flip. So which camera are you using? Front camera, back camera, that's that. Speed, this turns the speed tab on and off. Beauty, just a little filter, so it doesn't do loads, but it, smooths things out, makes you a little bit nicer maybe. Filters, these are basically your Instagram filters. So if you wanted to change colors and saturates, and you wanted to have a theme to your videos, you can use those. Finally, you have a timer. Now, this is such a useful tool, and I use it pretty much on every single video. Firstly, it gives you a 3 or 10 second countdown before it starts filming. This, of course, gives you time to set up and get into place. Seeing someone click record isn't the best look, so give yourself a bit of time, especially if you're using a tripod, to click record, get into position, ready to start filming. The second thing that it does, which I love, absolutely love this, it gives you a little red bar here. Now, what you do with this is you drag it to where you want the recording to stop. So let's say you're recording something and you want to have multiple shots, maybe you want to have multiple angles. You'd use this. So you can tell the app to stop recording at a certain point in the sound. Maybe you wanted to change camera angles on a beat. You can do that easily. So use this for all of those awesome transitions you've been seeing. Once you have that set, you click Start Shooting, and it will give you that countdown. So the final item you sometimes see is trim. So let's say you're creating a 15-second video, but the sound you've chosen is 30 seconds long. The final item you sometimes see is trim. So let's say you're creating a 15-second video, but the sound you've chosen is 30 seconds long. And there is one segment that you actually wanted to use, but it's actually near the end of the sound. That's where trim comes into play. You're trimming the sound, not the video. So all you do is click that, drag the sound where you want it to start, and click the tick. It's simple. The final element on here is to note that at the very bottom you'll have 3 options. Basically saying you can record up to 60 seconds, up to 15 seconds, and you can use a photo template. Now, I don't like the templates, and I really wouldn't use them. They look very generic and they're just not nice. Another tip is always try and keep to the 15-second videos if you can. They do a lot better. I'll talk more about how to do this and the best practice later on, so if you did need longer than 15 seconds, what you can do to improve your chances of going viral. If you did click the 60-second though, you'll notice that depending on the sound you have, you might only be able to record a certain length. So whatever you do, it will stop your recording at that maximum length for that sound. So you might have in mind to record 60 seconds, but it only lets you record 15. And it does tell you this up in the top, so keep that in mind. And for me, it's just another reason to stick to 15 seconds. It makes your life a lot easier. So when we are all ready to record now, let's hit that record button and do our thing. You'll notice that the music plays in the background while recording as well. So if you wanted to move to the beat or even lip sync something, that's how it's done. You can hear it in real time, and this is where the speed comes in handy, because if you speed up the video, the sound will slow down when you're recording it. So it gives you a better chance of lip syncing in time. With this, we can actually record sections as well. This is useful if you want to swap angles or add an effect, or if you just think it'll be better in bursts. Maybe you'll be more confident doing sections. That is something to know actually. You can add effects into each segment of your video and change those effects per segment. So going back to the green screen example, I'll normally do a standard video opening of maybe 1.5 seconds that will have a title in it, and it'll just have me and the title. Then I'll do a green screen for anything I want to talk about, and I'll have an image in the background. So let's say we have recorded a few sections, but we didn't like the last one we did. If you click the X button, it will delete that section for you so you can redo it. Let's say this video is all good to go now, and we want to move on to editing. You click the little arrow icon down here. Now we can start editing it. So this screen now is the same as we have when we upload content. So we're at the same point now. So if you upload content, you skip everything, you upload it and you get to this screen. Filming, you have to film the content and then you get to this screen. So let's go through these menus again, more menus. Starting at the bottom this time, you can add sounds or change the sounds you've used. So if you've uploaded a piece of content, this is where you add your sounds. And what is great with this, and I did mention it earlier, is if you're doing a voiceover, it's sometimes nice to add a sound in the background or to give it some emotional context, give it a vibe. And that's where you do it. So next is effects, but not the ones we've already been through. These are a whole host of other effects. And I know it's complex, right? These are overall video changing effects. They don't go directly onto your face, for example. It's more around the transitions and other stuff like that. I don't use them often, but if the creative juices are flowing and you think one is just going to work for you, then add it in. There are different sections for these as well. First is visual. These tend to add effects on top of the video, like adding sparks or smoke over the top. To add these, you have to hold them down for a length of time, so make sure you're holding it down that you want them to be in the video. So you can add them to just parts of the video, which is really nice. You can add just a subtle little effect to certain parts to give it a vibe or give it a different feel. Next is stickers. These are just some of the effects brought over from the original effects panel. And there's nothing great, to be honest. Next is transitions. These are really fun to play around with and help you make some interesting transitions between clips. One I really like in this is the countdown. It can be used at the end of videos to reveal something interesting and to get people hooked into wanting to see what that is. It's very clickbaity. Next is split. I really like the split ones. They can help especially when you upload a video. So, say you have your YouTube video that's landscape. I really like using the fuzzy split. It just fills the blank space that would be above and below your video with the same video, but it's blurred out. It adds a nice effect. It makes the video fill the screen more. It just feels better. Finally is time. Now if you wanted to add some timing effects, you can do. So there's reversing, there's speeding up, there's all kinds of things. I wouldn't say they're the most useful, but again, if creativity demands it, then do it. Just remember to make those effects live. You need to click save in the top right. Next up on the menu, on the main menu again, back to that, we have the text. Now you will use this a lot, like all the time, pretty much most videos. The nice thing is, it's basically the same as Instagram stories. You click it, add your text, you can then change the styles and colours as you want them. Once you've got that, then you click done, and you can move around by dragging. Scale it up by pinching and scale it down, rotating it with 2 fingers. Same with Instagram stories. One additional feature to text though is if you click on it, you can set the duration. Now, what this does is it allows you to put text on for certain time frames of your videos. So let's say at the start of your video, you have a little intro and you want a big fat title in there. So on your profile, the little GIF thing, remember, people can see exactly what that video is about. You can do that and you can set the text to only be on there for however long that intro is. Maybe it's 1.5 seconds, maybe 2. The minimum amount of time it has to be on there is 1 second. That is the very smallest amount of time. And you can keep layering text up like this, adding more, changing when it's shown. It's a really good tool to use. Next is stickers. I'm not a big fan of stickers in TikTok and neither are its users. The problem with stickers is that they look old and people tend to go overboard with them. The main time I see them used is in covering people's dignity. So TikTok has a very strict policy on nudity. So if it even thinks that you've shown slightly too much, it will tank the video and it may even delete it. So people put stickers over things they think might cause an issue, even if really they won't. The great thing with stickers is that you can set the duration in the same way as the text. But you can also do something really cool with it, and it's called pin. And what it does is it lets you move a sticker in line with the video. So if you're recording your car, for instance, and you didn't want your license plate all over TikTok, You can put a sticker over the license plate and keep it in line with that. It will follow the license plate. All you need to do is go to pin, then place the sticker over what you want it to track, then save it and it will do the rest for you. That way the sticker will move with the video. It's pretty awesome. The one sticker though that I really hate, but I really want to use, is poll. It'd be a great tool actually, and I have used it before with some success. But the problem is that you can't set the time for it on the video. So if you put a poll in, it's there for the entire length of the video. It's just always going to be there. And that annoys me, and I don't want that. So you can use polls, but you can't set times for them. One thing to really consider when adding text or stickers is your safe zone. So if you look back at the TikTok homepage, or on any video, there is a lot of stuff around the edges of the app. When adding text and stickers, you can see there is an outline of the right-hand menu with all your comments, likes, and shares, that little bar on the right-hand side. So that area is a no-go. So don't post anything under this, it just won't be visible at all. Next, you need to think about the description that goes over the top of the video. As a rule, I try and keep anything out of the bottom quarter of the video. So that section, again, this tends to make sure that even with a long caption, you aren't losing any of the text you've added. Finally, the top, there is the For You text that can get in the way. So again, don't put anything too high up. Here is a representation of the actual safe area to put text and to frame your content. So let's move on to the right-hand bar. This is where we can add filters again, or trim the sound again if it's not quite aligned. But we also have some other options. First is voice effects. If you're doing an original sound, you can add a voice effect over it. There are a few that make things a little bit more lighthearted and fun, some kind of robotic sounds and other various sounds. But it's up to you when and where and if you even want to use these. Next is Voiceover. This is really cool because you can upload a video of you, say, in a factory making something. Then later on in a quieter place, you can add a voiceover of what's happening and why you're doing that or why something is doing a certain thing. Finally, you have the volume control. This is where you can set the overall volume of the sound you have added. So again, if you're adding music behind a voiceover, it is a good idea just to turn it down so that people can hear you over the sound. You can also turn your voiceover up, which I always recommend doing. Always turn your voiceover up to max. For some reason, voiceovers in TikTok always seem to come across quietly. And phew, you can relax now. That's the video made, ready to go. So now we just need to finalize a description and get it uploaded. Or do we? So here you have some more options. You obviously should write a description. Now, this isn't Instagram or LinkedIn, so generally people aren't going to look too much at this, and you also have your limit of 150 characters. It is short. So the best way to use this is to either give more context to a video. For example, in that sleep-deprived marketer video, my description was, every marketer ever. And that's it. That's all I needed. It's just giving a little more flavour to the video. The other thing you can do is to ask a question to try and prompt more comments. Now you've got that, it's time to add hashtags. So don't go mental with these. Anything from 5 to 7 is plenty enough. Remember the hashtags we saved? So we will automatically have 3 that are fairly generic and large. Next we want to put a few directed at the specific video. And finally, a trending hashtag or 2, depending if they fit with what we do. There is some advanced stuff we can do here, but I'll talk about that later on in this course. Now we have that description done, it's time to check a few settings and hit publish. First setting is our cover image. What do we want to be shown on our profile? This does end up a little GIF. So try and choose something that shows what the video is about and something with some movement to really grab people's attention. And that's the best way to really garner attention from people on your profile. And this cover image only relates to people visiting your profile, so it's not a huge thing to think about, but you need to make sure that you're getting the most out of every video and every visitor to your profile. So in the settings, we also have the privacy setting. Generally, you'll want to use this as public, otherwise no one's going to see it, and kind of makes this all pointless. So leave it as is. But you can also set videos to only mutual followers can see. So it's a nice thing for your followers to get specific videos just for them. Next is if you want to allow comments. There is a reason you'd want to turn this off, but generally leave this turned on. For instance, if you're doing something political or being very vulnerable, you might want to turn these off. Another reason I've seen them turned off is because after they've posted the content, it's had a lot of personal hate comments towards it for no reason, so people just turn them off. And it's a shame that happens, but you can understand why. Next is if you want to allow people to duet and react to your video. I would always turn this on. As mentioned earlier, having someone duet your video is really powerful for reach. Again, if you didn't want this, you can turn it off. The only reason I would ever turn this off is if you're not confident in what you're talking about. Next is save to device. I always turn this off just to save space. I don't need it saved. I generally don't cross-post my TikToks. I create unique content for each platform. So auto-saving is nice if you want to post it on Instagram and LinkedIn, but you can also go back and save videos that you wanted if you did want to cross-post them ever. Next is to get it posted or to put it in drafts. So drafts is awesome for the content machine. What you can do with this is take a few hours out of your day a week, bulk create content and save it all in your drafts. Maybe you create 20-30 videos in a day because these videos are only 15 seconds long. They're quick to make. And that way you know you have at least one post every day ready to go. You just take it from the drafts and put it live. The other reason it's great is if you are creating a series of videos that all link. You might want to post them across the day or across a couple of days. So you can create them all at once, then have them in drafts and post them when you need to. And that's it. You've started your TikTok account and you're posting content. In this next section of videos, I'm going to go through more of the growth-driven tactics that you can use in your content. Let's do this.